Hey guys, welcome back to my Animal Adventures YouTube channel, and in this episode we are going to probe some snakes. And if you've been thinking about getting into ball pythons, or maybe you picked up a few, one thing you should really realize that if you pick up a ball python, just by looking at that snake you can't tell if it's a male or a female. And a lot of times you'll go up to like a reptile show, or maybe you'll pick one up from Morph Market, then you'll buy it as a male or a female. Let me tell you, there actually can be mistakes. You're buying one gender and you end up with another. And I actually bought some females last year. I think it was about 8 or 9 females ready to breed, and I started pairing them up, and I actually threw my bamboo male in with what I thought was a female. It turned out it was a male, and it sounded like World War II in that tub. Those snakes were going at it, and I pulled that bamboo out, and I found out later when I probed it, it was actually a male instead of a female. And I actually paid a higher premium for that snake because I thought it was a female ready to breed instead of a male. It was actually a normal male, and normal males, a full-size normal male, it's just pretty much a pet quality. It's not really something that breeders are really looking at. So you really have to watch the males and the females, and there's several ways to actually determine the gender. And what I like to do is I like to probe them, and I'll show you my probe kit, and we actually insert the probe into the pocket in the tail, and depending how deep it goes into that pocket, you can tell if it's a male or a female. And I was actually going through all my hatchlings when they hatched out, and I had like over 100 hatchlings, and I probed them all and sorted them male and female. And then I started thinking, I wonder if I got all of them right, all 100, because really this is my first year, and I thought it was pretty easy once you get the hang of it, but I just wanted to double check, especially the ones that I'm holding back. I'm thinking that I'm holding back 10 females and 2 males, and I really want to double check to make sure I have the males and the females right in my holdbacks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the snakes up over here. I have a little tripod, and I'm going to show you how I set them up. I have my snakes up here in a rack, and I'm just going to start pulling snakes, and let's probe them and figure out the males and the females. Okay, so here's my setup, and you definitely need a probe kit, and a probe kit comes with a whole bunch of different sizes of probes. And for these hatchlings, actually for my very first hatchling, I used the very smallest, tiniest probe, and they're a little bit bigger now, so I'm thinking of using the second size from the smallest. If you use too big of a probe, it actually won't go in the pocket, and it can trick you. You think you have all females, but it's actually the probe that's too big. So I'm going to pull some snakes and set this up on a tripod and check them out. So here's one of my coral glows, 50% het pied, good looking snake. And let's take a look at this one here. If he will cooperate. I'm pretty sure all these coral glows are males. This one's being a little finicky here. There we go. That is definitely a male. Look at how deep that went. Alright, so here's another male. It's scaleless head, 50% het caramel albino. And we'll see how far the probe goes in on this one. And this one is going in really far. Take a look at that. That's really far in there. Definitely a male. Alright, so here is my male calico bamboo. And we'll take a look at this one. Let's see here. This one is cooperating a little bit better. That one's going way in. That's definitely a male. So here is my bamboo lesser, my holdback, and this should be a female. The female, the probe won't go quite as deep. So you can see here it's only going that far. Not far at all. Definitely a female. Alright, here's my pastel scaleless head. I'm hoping it's actually a female. So let's see if we can probe her real quick. If she will cooperate. Let's see. Sometimes it's kind of tricky hitting that pocket too. You don't want to press too hard. There we go. Yep, that's a short one. That's a female. Alright, here's my bamboo pinstripe. Let's take a look at this one. Ah! Ew! Yuck! Okay, here is my pastel pinstripe bamboo. And we'll take a look at this one. We can get the tail going here. That one is actually a female. Here's another scaleless head, 50% het caramel albino. See if we can get this tail spun around. She's definitely wants to run. Let's see here. Sometimes it can be extremely frustrating. And sometimes it can be really easy. This one, definitely a female. Here's my beautiful pastel calico bamboo. And let's take a look at this one. This one is actually a male. Look at how far that went in. Definitely a male. So this one is my dinker project. It's an unusual looking normal that popped out of my coral glue. I'm kind of playing around with it to see if I'm thinking maybe it's het pied and maybe something else. This one only went in just a little bit. Definitely a female. This is one of my scaleless head lemon blasts. And I got her out and she started running a little bit. Sometimes if you just kind of move a little bit slower so they're not freaked out. This one's only going in that far. Definitely a female. Here's another lemon blast scaleless head, and both these snakes are going in shed. They're getting really big too. They're growing really fast. Really looking forward to getting some totally scaleless lemon blasts. Oh, let's see. Just a little bit. It's definitely a female. So this snake is interesting. I thought for sure this was a calico bamboo because it came out of my pastel calico female. And I'm thinking now that it's just a really reduced single gene bamboo. And it looks like this is definitely female, going in just a little bit. Okay, this is a bamboo pinstripe that is going crazy. I really love this snake. It's beautiful. It has one of the most intense and brightest colors and really unique patterns of all the bamboo combos. It's really interesting. And the other thing I find interesting too is it has a little stain right here. It almost looks like the pizza sauce or something. And someone mentioned that in the show. I actually had it at the show. And I decided to hold it back, and it still kept that little orange spot, which is kind of interesting. So I'm going to definitely lube this probe up again, and we'll see if this is a male or a female. And this is the one that made a mess earlier. I'm going to try it again. This is definitely a male. Okay, so that is all my hatchlings that I'm holding back, and it's pretty interesting to go through and double check to make sure you have the males and the females. It definitely will affect your long-term breeding plans, and you don't want to get down the road and start pairing what you think is a male and it actually turns out to be a female, especially if you're doing a lot of snakes. You know, if you're starting the breeding season and say you have 5 or 6 females and you pair it up with what you think is a male and it's actually a female, you'll have pretty much a dud season. So you definitely want to know your males from females. I would highly recommend buying one of those probe kits and practicing on your males and females, and make sure you're using the right probe size. When I actually started this video, I was using a probe that was too big, and it wasn't going all the way into the pocket of the hemipines. And then I was going through and I was like, wait a minute, all my snakes are females. What's going on? And it's because my probe was too big and it wasn't inserting all the way. So definitely use the right size probe. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up this episode of probing my holdbacks. And I'm definitely have more confidence now in my males versus my females, and it gives me an idea of what I'm going to pair with what in the future years to come. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.